Japan, in the late 1980s. A high school girl vanished on her way home. What seemed at first to be just another missing person case soon revealed a horrifying truth that shocked the entire nation. This is one of the most brutal crimes in Japan's history. The case of Junko Furuta. The main character in this story is Junko Furuta, a high school girl living in Saitama Prefecture. She was born into an ordinary family, with her parents, an older brother, and a younger brother. Junko was known as an exemplary student, good grades, well-behaved, no drinking, no smoking, and absolutely no involvement with drugs. After school, she also worked part-time at a plastic factory and an electronics store to save money for a trip after graduation. In the eyes of her friends, Junko was a beautiful, lively girl who was well-liked by many. She didn't drink alcohol, didn't smoke, and had certainly never touched any kind of narcotics at that time. However, this very prominence made her a target of some delinquents at school, young men who wanted to join the Yakuza, Japan's notorious crime syndicate. One of them was Hiroshi Miyano. He liked Junko and tried to approach her several times, but she rejected him outright. As someone notorious for his aggression and connections with the Yakuza, Miyano saw this rejection as an insult. He decided to take revenge. They devised a scheme of a fake hero saving the damsel. First, someone would attack Junko, then Miyano would appear to play the role of the hero coming to her rescue. Their intention was to make her lower her guard and trust them, so they could easily take her to the place they had planned. On the evening of November 25, 1988, while Junko was cycling home after her part-time job, a stranger suddenly rushed out and knocked her off her bicycle. Just as planned, Miyano pretended to happen to pass by and intervened, driving the harasser away. After this staged act, he pretended to be chivalrous and offered to escort Junko home. Although she didn't fully trust Miyano, Junko thought that staying with him seemed safer than facing the risk of being attacked by a stranger again. She had no idea that behind his gentlemanly facade, Miyano harbored hatred and had carefully plotted the entire scenario. Instead of taking Junko home, he led her to an abandoned warehouse. There, Miyano boasted about his ties to the Yakuza and brutally assaulted her repeatedly. Afterwards, he dragged her to a hotel where three accomplices, Minato, Ogura, and Watanabe, were already waiting. From that moment on, the four of them took turns tormenting the young girl mercilessly. Around 3 a.m. the next morning, Miyano brought Junko to a park, where his three accomplices, Minato, Ogura, and Watanabe were already waiting. They had obtained her family's address from a notebook in her backpack and threatened to kill her entire family if she tried to escape. After this threat, she was forced to a house owned by Minato's family in Ayase, Tokyo. 2 days later, on November 27th, Junko's parents reported her disappearance to the police. To halt the investigation, the perpetrators forced her to call her mother, pretending she had simply run away from home and was safe, asking her family to stop looking for her. Minato's family, fearing retaliation from the Yakuza and intimidated by their son's growing aggression, dared not contact the police. Even Minato's older brother knew about the situation but chose to remain silent. Junko Furuta was imprisoned in that house for 40 consecutive days, a farce period that turned into an inescapable nightmare. During her captivity, she endured brutal forms of torture, repeatedly raped, beaten, starved, hung from the ceiling like an object to be abused, and even had weights dropped onto her stomach. They forced her to eat raw food, drink urine, masturbate in front of them, and shoved foreign objects into her body. It didn't stop there. Junko was burned with cigarettes, lighters, and candle wax. Her eyelids clamped with heated needles, her chest pierced with pins, and even her nipples cut off. Some of their friends also took part, leaving DNA evidence inside the house. At one point, the police received a tip and came to investigate. But when the Minato family insisted nothing was wrong, the two officers left without entering the house. This mistake allowed Junko's torment to continue. In early December, Junko tried to call the police for help but was caught. As punishment, they soaked her legs in flammable liquid and set them on fire, then forced a glass bottle into her rectum, causing severe bleeding. Even so, she continued clinging to life. Many times Junko begged to be killed to end her suffering, but they refused. Instead, they forced her to sleep on the balcony during the freezing winter, locked her inside a refrigerator, and beat her mercilessly whenever she lost control of her bodily functions. After weeks of torment, Junko's face was swollen beyond recognition, her body severely infected, giving off a foul odor that made the attackers gradually lose interest. Not stopping there, the group committed further crimes by abducting and assaulting another 19-year-old woman. On January 4, 1989, they tortured Junko once again, this time for 2 continuous hours. She was beaten with an iron bar, had hot candle wax poured onto her eyes, had her legs broken, weights dropped onto her stomach, and was burned multiple times. Less than a day later, Junko took her final breath in unbearable agony. Panicking over her death, the perpetrators wrapped her body in a blanket, stuffed it into a travel bag, placed it inside a 208-liter drum, filled it with concrete, and disposed of it. On January 23, 1989, Miyano and Ogura were arrested by the police in connection with another rape case. During interrogation, Miyano mistakenly believed that Ogura had confessed, so he admitted his role and revealed the location where Junko's body had been hidden. The following day, police discovered the concrete-filled drum containing her body, and her identity was confirmed through fingerprints. Although the crime shocked the entire nation, the identities of the perpetrators were initially concealed by the court because they were underage. However, Japanese media later revealed their names, arguing that such ruthless individuals did not deserve anonymity. Outrage grew even stronger when they were only charged with causing bodily injury resulting in death instead of murder. In 1990, Hiroshi Miyano was sentenced to 20 years in prison, the heaviest sentence among the group, yet still considered far too lenient for such atrocities. The other accomplices received only 4 to 9 years. After their release, several of them continued to commit crimes. Furuta's family was left devastated. Her mother suffered a severe mental breakdown and required psychological treatment. The case ignited nationwide outrage in Japan and became infamously known as the concrete-encased high school girl murder. More than just a horrifying crime, it remains a scar reminding an entire generation that justice can sometimes be fragile in the face of brutality.